The following broadcast is made possible with the support of these underwriters. Parkway of Wilmington, featuring Hyundai, Subaru, and Volvo, 5920 Market Street. Once you experience the Parkway difference, your decision to buy from Parkway will be an easy one. If you're looking for a new or used Hyundai, Subaru, or Volvo, Parkway is the right dealership. If it has anything to do with ice cream, it has everything to do with Cold Stone Creamery. From unique ice cream creations to smoothies, cakes, and shakes, nobody serves up the ultimate indulgence like Cold Stone. Cold Stone Creamery, located at the entrance to Mayfair Town Center. Soundtronics, your home and car audio specialist. Soundtronics is your custom installation one-stop source. Soundtronics also has experts in the design and installation of mobile video, car audio, and navigation systems. Soundtronics is Wilmington's total electronic headquarters, 5715 Market Street. Pawn USA, proudly serving Wilmington and southeastern North Carolina since 1980. Pawn USA buys and sells new and used merchandise, as well as offers cash loans on your items of value. Pawn USA, they're a department store with cash to loan. Pawn USA is your one-stop shop for all your pawn loan and shopping needs. Pawn USA. Custom Home Furniture Galleries, with the area's largest display of furniture, over 50,000 square feet of quality home furnishings and accessories. They provide an opportunity for everyone to satisfy every furniture need under one roof. They also offer a full complement of designers on staff to assist you from the ground up. And Chick-fil-A Oleander. The staff at Chick-fil-A Oleander believes in providing their guests with the best restaurant experience, great tasting food, and a comfortable environment, and their famous second mile service. Chick-fil-A at Oleander strives to exceed your expectations.
Welcome to this edition of UpFront with the Superintendent. I'm your host, Ann David. Tonight we are live, and you, the parents, students, and community members of New Hanover County, have a chance to call in and ask questions of our panel of guests. Tonight, joining Dr. Markley, Superintendent of Schools, are our four traditional high school principals: Dr. Pamela Baldwin, Principal of Hoggard High School; Alan O'Brien, Principal of Laney High School; Todd Finn, Principal of New Hanover High School; and Kenneth Bowen, Principal of Ashley High School. During the next hour, we'll be taking questions, and we encourage you to call. Phone lines are now open, and the number to call is 251-2974. It is important to note that we will not be on the air. You'll not be on the air when you call in. And you won't be able to speak to one of our principals, but you will speak to one of our operators who will write down your question, and then they'll pass them to me and we'll ask the panel. In addition to calling in, you can send us questions via our Facebook page. Go to the school system's website, www.nhcs.net, and click on our Facebook logo. There you can post your question. And you can also email us your questions at the upfront link at nhcs.net. Finally, if you know someone that wants to watch and participate in the program, but unfortunately they have a satellite dish, then they can watch our program online. Tell them to visit the school system's website at www.nhcs.net and then click at the link they will find on the main page for streaming, and then follow the directions from there. Now, before we get started answering questions, I'd like to give Dr. Markley a chance to talk a little bit about the concepts behind our program this evening. Dr. Markley?
And thank you. Folks, I want to thank you all for tuning in. For high school principals, I appreciate you giving up a night to come in. Folks, if you got a basketball score out there and you want to send that in, we'll take those as well. All our teams are playing tonight. But this is an opportunity to open up those lines of communication. In the 2 years that I've been here, one of the things that I've really wanted to do is give our parents an opportunity to find ways to get in touch with our school folks, get questions answered, and make sure that information is flowing both ways. So I want to thank our studio, I want to thank our sponsors, and at this point I'll turn it back over to Ann and we'll get started.
Thank you, Dr. Markley. Now that the preliminaries are all over, let's get to the reason we're all here, the questions. Prior to tonight's program, we have received quite a few questions on the UpFront Link website. So we'll hit those questions and then start taking those we've received on Twitter and Facebook and phone calls. Our first question, and I will just ask the question generically to all of you and you can just respond, whoever feels the need to speak first. Our first question was about block scheduling. The parent asked, what is the reasoning behind block scheduling? It would appear that some classes, like maths and foreign language, that the lapse of time between like Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 or Spanish 1 and Spanish 2 would be detrimental to the students. Would any of you like to speak to the reasons we do block scheduling and how that works?
Well, I'll be glad to talk about that. And I think that's a very fair question from the parent when you look at gaps between a student taking a course perhaps in the fall of one year and then not getting the follow-up course to the spring of the next year. But in all of the courses we take that time and that opportunity to make sure that we're providing the proper review, to make sure that the students have the scaffolding in place to make sure that they are able to be successful when they do take that second level course. The other thing that the block schedule does allow us to have, and I think all my colleagues would agree, is that it gives us an opportunity to offer more courses to our students. Quite a few more elective courses are offered because of the block schedule. So just some thoughts from Laney on that.
It also puts us on par with college schedules. So if we have a student who wants to access some of those college courses, that block schedule allows us to do that. But you're also seeing these principals start to do some creative things around that scheduling. We've got some year-long courses with AP. We've got some freshman programming coming in. It's going to be some year-long courses. So you're starting to see these folks blend those things. Now I'll let them talk about some of the particulars at their school.
Okay. Would you like to comment any more on block scheduling? Or?
I think that block scheduling also allows for more time in a lesson. For example, for a science teacher, creating labs and making sure that you take care of discussion and lab work and such. 90 minutes is a good time for that to happen. I think also in mathematics and other courses that maybe you don't feel like block scheduling lends itself to, the teachers and the students have opportunities for more practice, peer tutoring, and some unique scheduling opportunities to maybe flip-flop into other classes and to integrate other subjects. So I think block scheduling has certainly some very great advantages.
Okay, that's great. Our next question deals with AVID. The parent is asking, what is AVID and how do I know if my child is suited for AVID? They were just not really sure what the program entailed. I know AVID's at is every school, every high school, or just some? A high school that has AVID, would you like to explain how that works?
Sure. We have AVID at Hoggard, and AVID stands for Advancement via Individualized Determination. And that program is for students that are in the middle. Oftentimes you find schools that serve our students on either end of the spectrum, students that need special attention because they have learning disabilities and such, and then you have students that are in rigorous coursework and are academically striving at high levels. And then you have students in the middle that typically have not been served in any other program. AVID allows us to serve those students that have the potential to work at the AP honors level but maybe haven't challenged themselves. There's a profile for an AVID student, a student that's about 2.5 to a 3.0 GPA, a student that may be a first-time college goer in their family, a student that maybe just needs that little extra push and some encouragement from some of the peer tutors in the building, some of the community tutors in the building, and some of the teachers that are our AVID teachers that provide that support. And so if they want more information, they could go to any website and to look up AVID, as well as talk to the guidance counselors. I think each of the schools that has AVID in the building has a AVID guidance counselor or a teacher that's in charge of AVID. So that's, I think, where you would start.
So they need to probably go through the counselor first if they have some questions about their child. And I think parents probably have a pretty good grip on, at that point, with that explanation, if their child fits into that or not. Are there any of the other schools that don't have AVID that have something maybe similar to that you'd like to add in?
I would also point out that a lot of our middle schools also have the AVID program as well. And you know, AVID, the strategies that come from the AVID program are not just useful in the AVID classroom or the AVID elective. You know, they're useful school-wide. So these strategies can be used, you know, school-wide with all of your students. They're good, sound educational practices. And you know, AVID is a program that's been around for 20 plus years, and it's got a proven track record, and some of the strategies that, you know, that they use are very, very beneficial to students.
That's good to know. Our next question, it says that I've always heard that students should take an English a year when they're in high school, and as well as a math a year. I guess that's because you have 4 credits of English to graduate and 4 credits of math to graduate. But their question is that do they have to take one a year, like an English each year and a math each year? The question continues that those that are trying to graduate early or maybe wanted to keep their Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 close, they may take 2 maths in a year instead of 1. Do they still have to take a math each of the 4 years or just the 4 credits for graduation?
It's not a requirement that you do 1 per year. And if you have students who want to accelerate and get out early, talk to your guidance counselor, and we can set that kind of program up. We were just meeting with as high school principals in terms of dropout group, looking at an accelerator diploma for kids who want to advance and get out earlier. And as we push courses down into the middle school for high school credit, that's going to become more and more of an issue of allowing our students to get out early. That old picture of 4 years to get to start and finish high school is disappearing. Now you can get in, get out a little faster, or you may need that extra semester if you've got an issue.
True. So the English each year makes sense because the way they're structured, but the math doesn't necessarily have to have a math each year. They can mix and match whatever suits their scheduling.
Correct.
Okay.
But we probably recommend a math every year for you know, college and making sure that you're competitive for college.
Also, leave that last year hanging without a math.
That's right, and it also goes back to the block schedule a little bit. You know, the block schedule allows us to have these opportunities that we might not be able to have without it.
That's good. Anyone like to add to that before we move on? Okay. The next question, it says, my child doesn't take AIG or advanced classes in middle school, but they generally make A's and B's. How do I know if they should take honors classes once they get to high school?
I think the first part is that we try to articulate with our middle school feeder schools so that we can have a good grasp on what's going on at the middle school and what students maybe need help or need to be pushed in other areas. And so to begin, we look at the data to look at ELG scores and grades and talk with parents and students about where the students think they want to be or need to be. I believe that the best way to start is to talk with the middle school counselor. It's also talk with the high school counselor for the feeder school and have a discussion about where the students' interests are and also their strengths and weaknesses.
And if they start not taking honors, then can they take honors maybe the next time?
Absolutely.
So it's not an all or nothing.
Correct.
They can mix.
I would also add that with the addition of the Explore test to the middle schools, we'll be moving to Explore and then Plan in high school along with ACT. But if they take a look at their child's Explore test, the diagnostic information that comes along with that test will be a great indicator as to whether or not the child will be successful in honors classes.
Okay. And I think a lot of parents want to challenge their children but don't want to put them in over their head. So I think that was the basis for that question. Okay, our next question, it says, do students have to go to counselors for information? Or is there a time when the counselors will call the students in and kind of go over their schedule and their direction towards graduation or what the child wants to do down the road?
We run both processes. Counselors have a set schedule to visit classrooms, specific grade levels to provide information to those students, as well as they are charged with holding group meetings that may pertain to specific students, whether it be about certain issues or about certain colleges or the college enrollment process. So we're basically doing both at our school.
Okay.
In Hanover, what do you guys do?
Well, at our school, we encourage our counselors to actually go to our students as well. and our students have the opportunity to go to the counselors. We also encourage our students to seek out adult mentors in the building that may not be guidance counselors, but we've all been to college before. We've all been there as well. Something that we've done this year that I'm very, very impressed with is that we have a lot of our seniors pairing up with a lot of our freshmen. So they can kind of walk them through the process and say, this is how it was when I went here as well. So we take more of a family approach, and I think that we all do that as well. But with guidance counselors, part of their job is to do that, but really it's all of our job.
That's a good idea. I think that students probably listen to other students and feel more comfortable sometimes addressing that. Well, we are now going to take a short break. Our phone lines are open, so please continue to call for our questions from Dr. Markley and one of our 4 traditional high school principals. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Tonight's broadcast is made possible with the support of these underwriters. Parkway of Wilmington, featuring Hyundai, Subaru, and Volvo, 5920 Market Street. Once you experience the Parkway difference, your decision to buy from Parkway will be an easy one. If you're looking for a new or used Hyundai, Subaru, or Volvo, Parkway is the right dealership. If it has anything to do with ice cream, it has everything to do with Cold Stone Creamery. From unique ice cream creations to smoothies, cakes, and shakes, nobody serves up the ultimate indulgence like Cold Stone. Cold Stone Creamery, located at the entrance to Mayfair Town Center. Soundtronics, your home and car audio specialist. Soundtronics is your custom installation one-stop source. Soundtronics also has experts in the design and installation of mobile video, car audio, and navigation systems. Soundtronics is Wilmington's total electronic headquarters, 5715 Market Street. Pawn USA, proudly serving Wilmington and southeastern North Carolina since 1980. Pawn USA buys and sells new and used merchandise, as well as offers cash loans on your items of value. Pawn USA, they're a department store with cash to loan. Pawn USA is your one-stop shop for all your pawn loan and shopping needs. Pawn USA. Custom Home Furniture Galleries, with the area's largest display of furniture, over 50,000 square feet of quality home furnishings and accessories. They provide an opportunity for everyone to satisfy every furniture need under one roof. They also offer a full complement of designers on staff to assist you from the ground up. And Chick-fil-A Oleander. The staff at Chick-fil-A Oleander believes in providing their guests with the best restaurant experience, great tasting food, and a comfortable environment. And their famous second mile service. Chick-fil-A at Oleander strives to exceed your expectations.
Welcome back to this special edition of UpFront with the Superintendent. I'm your host, Ann David, and joining us this evening with Dr. Markley, we have the 4 traditional high school principals. Our phone lines are open for your questions, and feel free to send us questions via our Facebook page or email at the UpFront link on nhcs.net. Well, now let's get back to questions that we've been receiving. Our next question has to do with tutoring and help for SAT and ACT. The question is that we really can't afford to have tutors or to pay for the classes. Is there anything offered at schools to help students prepare for the SAT or the ACT?
I know we're offering a practice test, and I have to give kudos to our academic boosters group, because they and our PTSA, they've put together a program and a practice test where kids can actually access a practice test, get some feedback on that test. Unfortunately, we can't offer it to all of our students, but this is kind of a trial run for us because ACT is brand new for all of us, but we do have something in line for that at Laney, and I know that the other schools are working on that as well.
They can also enroll for free at North Carolina Virtual Public School in ACT Prep and SAT Prep classes.
And then starting next year, or actually this spring, we'll be giving the ACT free to every junior in the county. We'll also be offering next year the PLAN test, which is a pre-SAT at no cost, and the Explorer test that Ken talked about earlier in middle school, which is aligned to that ACT.
Well, that's good information for the parents to know.
And also the websites of these different places have questions of the day. There's a lot of information if you were to go online as well.
That are not, that don't cost.
Yeah, exactly.
It's free. If they go to the college board, they'll get the information based on the SAT, and if they go to act.org, they will get the ACT questions.
Okay, that's good for parents to know. Our next question is kind of along the same lines. It speaks to tutoring opportunities. I know everybody knows there are tutors out there for hire, but the parents are asking, are there any tutoring opportunities available at school that are at no cost to students?
We have Saturday academies that we run, and fortunate that our teachers basically volunteer to come out and do this. And we've been doing it on site at Eugene Ashley High School every Saturday from 8 to 12. The unique thing that we're doing beginning this semester is a good bit of our population lives on this end of town, the downtown area, so we will actually use the Spencer building as well and run tutoring sessions at both sites and rotate between each site every Saturday, and kids have come out and taken advantage of it.
That's good to know.
We also require teachers to tutor in the morning and in the afternoon, and so the students have an opportunity from 7 to 8:30 to tutor, and from 3:30 to 5 o'clock to tutor with teachers in every department. And so we have a rotating shift that every teacher is required to tutor within that department. It doesn't have to be their teacher, it needs to be a teacher in the subject area. So.
Yeah. And we do the same thing as well, and what I would encourage parents to do is to maintain contact with their child's teacher, because our teachers are wonderful, and more than likely, if they know there's an interest from a parent or a student for the tutoring, they will go above and beyond to make sure they receive that service.
It's also important for parents to know that they can go on to the teacher pages on the websites, and our teachers are required to go ahead and post their tutoring hours as well. And if they don't have internet access, all of our teachers have their tutoring hours on their door too. Something we've done a little bit differently in Hanover this year is that when a child gets to school, rather than hang out in the courtyard, they report directly to their first period class. They check in, that they can go get tutoring as well. So very similar to what Hogarth's doing. We provide that service in the morning as well, and it's really seemed to work out well for us.
Very good. You want anything?
Absolutely. We're doing a lot of the same things, and would encourage taking a look at teacher websites. We provide tutoring after school in the afternoons. All of our teachers are required to stay on a certain day and provide tutoring for their students.
That's good to know. Our next question is more of a focused question, I guess, to Dr. Baldwin with the new attendance policy that Hogarth has worked on this semester. And the question is, with the new policy, they distinguish between excused and unexcused absences. But the distinction doesn't have any influence on if they're exempt from exams. Is there a reason for that? I guess the question is, if there was an excused absence, shouldn't it be helpful to them as far as taking exams, and only unexcused absences counted towards being the exam exemption? You may want to explain the policy a little bit.
Sure, I will. The attendance
understand.
policy is a pilot that Hogarth's working on this semester, or this year. There's a 10-day limit. Unexcused or excused absences are included in that 10-day limit. For the exam exemption, that's a reward for the students that are coming to school every day. There is no differentiation between excused and unexcused for the exam exemption policy. That is because the staff and the SIT team, including parents and community members that sat down and talked about this policy, felt that it was important the students were in class and they were rewarded for A, B, or C in the class and a certain number of absences. And so that's just something that we voted on. The community agreed that that would be a great reward for those students that are coming to school. Again, this is a pilot program, and we are going to, of course, get more input from our other high school principals as well as Dr. Markley to discuss how to move forward next year if we do that with the attendance policy. So any suggestions, I'd love to hear from the parents.
And with exams just being over, do you feel like that was a big plus?
Absolutely, absolutely. The data for attendance policy and student achievement is fantastic right now, and I think it's going to be something that will be positive for the entire district.
Okay, thank you. All right, our next question will be something I'm sure all you can answer, and Dr. Markley may want to speak to this. It said, are all classes available at all high schools? And if not, can students make arrangements to take a particular class at another high school?
Now you can go to our high schools and 90% of the offerings are going to be the same, but there are going to be some differences. Example, in the Hanover with their automotive program, they have the facilities for that. That may not be available at other schools. And if there's a course that's available at one school and not another, yes, we do make allowances for students to take those courses at different schools.
Okay. Do any of the principals want to speak to that, or is that that covers that pretty good? Okay. Our next question, it says, what are the other learning options available to students, and are there grade level restrictions for when they are available? This may extend that to further other schools.
I'd ask you guys to talk about your different CTE options, your college course offerings, and probably online.
Well, we offer all of those different course options, career technical education, a variety of AP courses, honors courses, on-level courses, a full range of art courses. And so most of them are available. If you were to look at the curriculum bulletin online, it would probably break down some of the information a little bit more for the person asking that question. But I would encourage them to look at the New Hanover County Schools curriculum bulletin posted on our website, and it will have a breakdown a lot of times of prerequisite courses that are required. It would also address grade level questions as well. I think that would probably be the best resource for that particular question.
Okay. Would somebody like to speak to the North Carolina Virtual High School? I know that's become very popular as well for other learning options.
It's a great opportunity to provide students with opportunities that we may not have in our building, or maybe another option because they learn better online. And so there's not really a restriction on who can take that course. We want to make sure that we set students up to be successful, and so we will obviously talk to them through our guidance department or the administrative team to have conversations about what is a best fit for the student. But we have offerings at North Carolina Virtual Public School that we don't offer and that I think students really enjoy, and so there's not a kind of a one answer for that question, because we want to make sure that we talk with students and make sure it's the best fit for them.
Okay. And I guess the other thing that I've had parents ask me about are Huskins classes. I know there was some break in those during budget problems, but they seem to be back up.
There's a little bit of tweaking in the programs. You can still take community college courses through that. Now, each of you have sort of different courses at your schools. Why don't you each just sort of tell some of the courses that are unique to your schools?
Well, to get back to the original question, if I might just go ahead and do
Please.
that. Something that we'd like to, actually all of us have done, but part of our Odyssey Academy next year, which is sort of our freshman school within a school, if you will, we want to be able to provide students with their freshman foundation year, similar to what you'll have when you go off to college. And depending on what type of math they're going to take in their science, their social studies, and their English, they'll have those opportunities. We also want to make it known that we want to encourage the students to take classes outside the Odyssey as well, so they'll have those choices. And we want them to be able to explore choices like virtual or something in CTE. Want them to really enjoy being in school. Obviously, we want them to enjoy their courses taken inside the academy with the freshman foundation year as well. But it's really important that these young people have the opportunity to choose areas, if you will, like a buffet, and see where they might want to be successful. That's sort of our approach to the Odyssey this year.
Yeah, that's good, to keep them interested in the area that they are interested in.
Absolutely.
As far as learning. We'll wrap up just for a minute here and come back and do some more questions in just a little bit. It's time to take another break. So remember, our phone lines are open, and don't hesitate to call with your questions. Our number is 251-2974, or send your questions via the Facebook page or email them to upfront@thenhcs.net. We'll be right back.
Tonight's broadcast is made possible with the support of these underwriters. Parkway of Wilmington, featuring Hyundai, Subaru, and Volvo, 5920 Market Street. Once you experience the Parkway difference, your decision to buy from Parkway will be an easy one. If you're looking for a new or used Hyundai, Subaru, or Volvo, Parkway is the right dealership. If it has anything to do with ice cream, it has everything to do with Cold Stone Creamery. From unique ice cream creations to smoothies, cakes, and shakes, nobody serves up the ultimate indulgence like Cold Stone. Cold Stone Creamery, located at the entrance to Mayfair Town Center. Soundtronics, your home and car audio specialist. Soundtronics is your custom installation one-stop source. Soundtronics also has experts in the design and installation of mobile video, car audio, and navigation systems. Soundtronics is Wilmington's total electronic headquarters, 5715 Market Street. Pawn USA, proudly serving Wilmington and southeastern North Carolina since 1980. Pawn USA buys and sells new and used merchandise, as well as offers cash loans on your items of value. Pawn USA, they're a department store with cash to loan. Pawn USA is your one-stop shop for all your pawn loan and shopping needs. Pawn USA. Custom Home Furniture Galleries, with the area's largest display of furniture, over 50,000 square feet of quality home furnishings and accessories. They provide an opportunity for everyone to satisfy every furniture need under one roof. They also offer a full complement of designers on staff to assist you from the ground up. And Chick-fil-A Oleander. The staff at Chick-fil-A Oleander believes in providing their guests with the best restaurant experience, great tasting food, and a comfortable environment, and their famous second-mile service. Chick-fil-A at Oleander strives to exceed your expectations.
Welcome back to this special edition of Upfront with the Superintendent. Our phones are ringing, and if you can't get through the first time, be sure to try to call again. Also, first let me tell you our number is 251-2974. But there's no waiting if you go to our Facebook page, and you can also email or Twitter at upfront@nhcs.net. Now let's get back to questions. We've got quite a few. This question is about, and it's to all of you, it's about, do you have any policy in place for students to evaluate teachers once the semester is over?
I'd like to take that one. We just started this semester something like a spot evaluation that you do at the university, where students are allowed to go online to a survey that we've created, the questions that are teacher specific, that they can drop down, pick a teacher's name out of a drop down and pick their 4 teachers and actually evaluate their class from the previous semester, as well as provide some feedback in comment boxes. So we're doing that this semester, and we're going to hopefully get some good feedback to begin the spring semester.
The follow-up to that question, it must have come from a student, was how much identification has to be given before they do the evaluation?
It's completely anonymous.
Okay.
And the state of North Carolina is actually looking at doing this statewide and doing some kind of student survey about classes. And they're talking about not only high school, but middle school and elementary students as well.
That's good. Any of the other high schools that have programs in place or working on programs for student evaluation?
I plan on doing a survey, but it's not going to be teacher specific. It'll be general school wide. It will get as specific as departments, but not teacher specific.
Oh, terrific.
Sometimes just something as simple as when you do a walkthrough in the morning time and say good morning, to be able to pull a child aside or pull a student out of class and just ask them what they like about the particular course and some of the things that they're learning. And there are lots of things sometimes you can find out that they'll let you know right there on the spot. And I think that sometimes that personal approach can really give you some feedback that you can really use.
This is jumping ahead, but I saw as one of the questions that came in, and it was about classroom walkthroughs, so to speak. They wanted to know, as principals, do you get out of the office and go into classrooms?
That's an expectation for us, and that's something that helps us to be more in touch with what's going on in the classroom. We're the principal teachers in the building. So we have to share our ideas and give our feedback to the teachers on things that we like and things that we think that might need to look a little bit different. But yeah, I think that all of us are doing those sorts of things. And quite honestly, for me, and I'm sure for everybody else, it's the highlight of my day going into classrooms and seeing the great things that are going on with our teachers and the great things that our students are doing. So it's a highlight for all of us, I'm sure.
It's definitely the highlight of my day, and I make it a point to visit every teacher's classroom every day. I also do my walkthroughs as well, but in terms of the classroom visits, I feel it's a priority to know what's going on in the classroom, how the students are performing, the instruction that's taking place, and I've received some good feedback from it.
Something that's really important as well too is that teachers and students know that the walkthroughs that we do are not I got you moments. We'd like to have the approach of I caught you doing something great. And some of that feedback you can give, something as simple as a sticky note on the computer or just a wink or a nod and hey, good job. It really motivates teachers, and they really need to have that throughout their day as well. There are times that I want to jump in and teach a class with them. And I think that we can all pretty much agree that not only is it the highlight of our day, but we're going to be lifelong teachers for the rest of our lives and working with kids and teachers as well. Personally, for me, the day that I get stuck behind a desk is the day to get out of the business and go do something else. And there are days that sometimes you can't get out of that office during testing and whatnot, but it's so refreshing to get back out there in the hallways and with those kids, because that's what we're really in the business of doing.
Great. Our next question deals with something that's new to the parents this year, and that's the Parent Assist module that was, I guess, officially rolled out this semester. This question, and we've got just a few, if you guys can bear with us through these, it says, can the parents rely on the grades that are posted for their students on the Parent Assist? This parent said that some of the grades or attendance looked wrong. Who should they contact? Should they contact the teacher directly, or how should they deal with those issues?
The grades are entered by the teachers, so those grades are those teachers' grades that they're putting in. And you talk to the teacher first if you think there's a mistake. Now, you also need to know the teachers sometimes have different weights for different things, and that may not be apparent when you first log into that Parent Assist module. Tests may be worth more than quizzes or more than homework, so you need to know that about the teacher's classroom.
I think also is to make sure that they provide the teacher an opportunity to enter those grades, and so they may see that there are grades in there and the student has a B that day, and the following day they've entered a test and they see a change, maybe a dramatic change up or down, and that's something, again, that if you speak with the teacher and talk to the teacher about what's going on in the classroom, that constant communication, the Parent Assist module is great, but you have to continue to actually speak with people to make sure that we are communicating what's going on in the classroom as well.
Okay, and this is another jump ahead question, but a parent asked, with high school teachers, what is the best and most effective way to reach them?
Email.
Absolutely.
I would agree.
And a follow-up to that question is, if you email them and don't hear back from them, then how do you contact them? Because I know, do they have phones in their rooms? What is that best next step?
If they email, me personally, if they email and don't hear back, they can send the email to me, because sometimes their email gets caught in spam. I do a really good job of checking my spam, so I will forward the email to the teacher, and that's always taking care of the situation.
I know that AOL sometimes catches emails in the spam that teachers miss. So do all of you agree that if
Yes.
they can't get up with the teacher, just to give you guys a...
They also have an extension and can leave a message, but email is certainly the best way. And again, we do have a lot of spam in the district because of filters, which is a good thing. So just be sure to follow up.
Some follow-up questions to the Parent Assist was, are all high school parents now able to access the Parent Assist module? Are all the high schools doing that?
We still have some to give out. We are asking our parents to come in and pick up their PAM information. So we've been very diligent about making sure we put it in the hands of parents. So we still have some to give out at Laney's, but it's available throughout the day, and we've stayed late on days to give out that information. So.
Okay. Another regard to this is, have you had any direct feedback from parents, or are you planning on doing a survey or some contact with parents to see their thoughts on how this is working?
The parents I've spoken with love it. It's a great way to stay in contact with what your child is doing, and nothing but positive feedback on it.
It's also a great way to ensure that we are entering the data on a timely basis. We've still got some folks that will put data in every single day, and our expectation is before you go home on Friday, make sure you got your grades in there. So over the course of the weekend when parents access that, they can get a pretty good read. Don't want to see old data on there, things from October when it's December. And that is our expectation. But some feedback I do get from parents on the parent assistant module has been that they'd like to see more consistency with data being entered on a regular basis. And that's really helped us change our programming a little bit too.
That was another follow-up question. Is there an expectation about how quickly data is to be entered from the principal's perspective?
This first semester has been learning the system. It went out in October, so we've had November, December to sort of figure out how to make it work. Heading into second semester, those expectations will be a building by building principal expectation in terms of what they want their teachers to do.
Okay, that's good. So parents just need to be patient and work to make that system work better.
It puts a good kind of pressure, though, and not a stress, but a good kind of pressure on an educator to be able to say that I've got to get this data in. And when your grades are due, when it's time to close your grades out, it's a whole lot easier when you know you've been putting it in from week to week. It's a good habit to get into, and I think it really has kind of forced a good habit.
That's good.
I'd like to point out that we're also cutting edge on this. I mean, I want to say we may be the only district that is piloting this at this point in time, or one of the only.
One of only 2 or 3 in the state.
So we're way ahead of the curve on this. So, and that's a good thing.
Yes, absolutely. The next question is, now that we've recently completed exams for the first semester, we had, and this was an early call question, and we've also had it come in with the calls this evening. They felt there was some confusion from their students on what the exam schedule was like. Is there a plan in place to revise the exam schedule for next semester, or will it go similarly as?
We met this morning, in fact, about this issue. There were lots of questions about our exam schedule, EOCs, non-EOCs, when they were given. So we're looking at putting together a common schedule for our high schools, and we should have something in the next couple of weeks in terms of how to make some adjustments. We knew we did some things wrong, and we'll make it better second semester.
We're very excited about the fact that Dr. Markley allowed us to collaborate and come up with a schedule that's really going to work. We're actually very, very excited about the data we've already seen. So something good did come out of that schedule. I think that a lot of folks saw some growth. I know certainly we did. But we're even more excited about what we can do in the spring when we have one more crack at it.
That's great. All right, well, we are ready for another break. So we'll take this last break. But before we go to break, I'd like to recognize our crew for tonight's show. Directing this program, running the audio, graphics, cameras, teleprompter, floor managing, and assisting with our Facebook email questions are our high school students. Many of the students are the CTE students in digital media at our various high schools, and some are volunteering as a part of their community service for the Beta Club or the National Honor Society. Meanwhile, behind me on the phones are members of the school system's Public Relation Office and Administrative Support Office. We'd like to thank them for their excellent work this evening and helping us to bring this show to you. Now don't go away. We'll be right back for our final segment. Thank you.
Tonight's broadcast is made possible with the support of these underwriters. Parkway of Wilmington, featuring Hyundai, Subaru, and Volvo, 5920 Market Street. Once you experience the Parkway difference, your decision to buy from Parkway will be an easy one. If you're looking for a new or used Hyundai, Subaru, or Volvo, Parkway is the right dealership. If it has anything to do with ice cream, it has everything to do with Cold Stone Creamery. From unique ice cream creations to smoothies, cakes, and shakes, nobody serves up the ultimate indulgence like Cold Stone. Cold Stone Creamery, located at the entrance to Mayfair Town Center. Soundtronics, your home and car audio specialist. Soundtronics is your custom installation one-stop source. Soundtronics also has experts in the design and installation of mobile video, car audio, and navigation systems. Soundtronics is Wilmington's total electronic headquarters, 5715 Market Street. Pawn USA, proudly serving Wilmington and southeastern North Carolina since 1980. Pawn USA buys and sells new and used merchandise, as well as offers cash loans on your items of value. Pawn USA, they're a department store with cash to loan. Pawn USA is your one-stop shop for all your pawn loan and shopping needs. Pawn USA. Custom Home Furniture Galleries, with the area's largest display of furniture, over 50,000 square feet of quality home furnishings and accessories. They provide an opportunity for everyone to satisfy every furniture need under one roof. They also offer a full complement of designers on staff to assist you from the ground up. And Chick-fil-A Oleander. The staff at Chick-fil-A Oleander believes in providing their guests with the best restaurant experience, great tasting food, and a comfortable environment, and their famous second mile service. Chick-fil-A at Oleander strives to exceed your expectations.
Welcome back to Upfront with the Superintendent. This is our final segment of our program this evening. Our phones are still open, and the number to call is 251-2974. Please note that any of your questions for our principals or for Dr. Markley that we don't get to tonight, the answers will be posted on a special question and answer block on the school system's website. Also, the questions for the superintendent that we don't get to this evening, they'll be answered during our regular monthly editions of Upfront right here on TLN. Now back to those questions. We just got a follow-up question talking about the parent assistant module. And this is about parents talking about that they don't have computer access. How can they find out this information on Parent Assist if they don't have access to a computer?
All of our schools have got computers where parents can come in and log in if they'd like to. I love to talk to parents anyway, so that when they come in, while I've got you, let's go ahead and sit down and talk. But we've set up a little kiosk where parents can come in if they need to and log in and check it. So far, no one's taken advantage of that yet because they're going to get through me first, and I want to just kind of bend their ear a little bit as well. So, but if we get to that point where someone does need to come in and use it, it's welcome.
Okay. Are there similar situations in the other schools?
All of our schools, all the way down to elementary schools.
Okay, have that ability to come in.
Yes.
Okay, our next question is about parent involvement, and I know that parent involvement is very important in all our schools. The question specifically states, what support are you lacking from the parent community? How can parents help with the success of our schools?
I have to say that Hoggard has probably some of the best parents I've ever worked with, and so it's hard to say what more they can do. They volunteer in our office. They're active on the SIT team. They are always asking what else they can do for the school, and so I have to say that I'm very pleased with the parent involvement at our high school and appreciate our parents a lot.
I will also add we have wonderful parents at Ashley as well who volunteer on a regular basis, and they're great help to us. We've opened up, at one point they're mainly running desks, but we've also opened up options in curriculum development and various things that even more parents can get involved in. So I do encourage anyone who's interested in volunteering to give us a call because we love to have them.
I can tell you, being in Cumberland County and in Bladen County and now here, I've never seen as much parent support as we've seen. We literally have a legion of parents that come in. They literally work shifts because everyone wants to help so much. And I'm still trying to learn names of everyone that comes in, but one thing that I have in Hanover County is the loyalty of the parents and the willingness to help out. And it's been absolutely incredible.
I would echo that. We have tremendous parent support groups, athletic, academic, PTSA, band, even our chorus boosters. We have tremendous support from our parents. And we'd like for all of our parents to be involved in one of those groups. All of us would. But one thing that parents can also do at home, if they can't get out to a PTSA meeting, if they can't get to an academic boosters meeting, is just make sure that you're requiring those students to do that academic time at home as well. Require those students to have that 60 to 90 minutes a night of homework, or looking back over your notes, or taking that time to organize your binders and your notebooks, because those are the things that can also have a positive impact on student achievement. And some of those things are in the hidden curriculum where, we don't really necessarily teach those things, but if these things are done, it will only help students achieve when they get back into school. So I would encourage parents, if they can't be involved in one of these groups, to be very involved on the home front, making sure that your kids are spending time, some academic time at home each evening.
That's great. Thank you for the response for all of you. Parents often feel like sometimes that when they get to high school, they're not as wanting to be involved as the elementary and middle school days. So it's always good to hear from principals that parents are still wanted just as much in high school as they were when their students were young.
They really need to be more involved
Absolutely.
when they get to high school. So.
All right, our next question is about graduation projects. I'm sure y'all felt that this would come soon. The graduation project question is, has it been considered to do the graduation projects during the junior year instead of senior year, since most of the students are extremely busy with college applications during their senior year? Plus, if there's a problem with the senior or the graduation project, they can, I guess, fix things and pass the graduation project, and it doesn't affect their graduation.
Well, the graduation project was designed to fill that void that's often there in the senior year because students have maxed out their curriculum, and to give some final wrap up to that whole process. So at this point, it's going to be a senior graduation project.
Okay, so that is not in the motion to change. This is a question along those lines. Will the senior project continue? I heard that it was changing, and it will be for honors English students only.
No.
And will no longer be, for everybody that has to have it to graduate.
There may be some changes. The state is actually looking at, when they rate schools, to rate whether they have the graduation project or not as an indicator of quality of that school.
Okay.
Something that's also important, though, for juniors to get excited about is when they do their junior project or their junior research paper, to really pick and choose something along the lines that they really love and something that they're interested in, something they want to learn about, because there's a really good chance that those resources can carry over to their senior year, and a lot of that work can be banged out a little bit earlier on. So if they look long view, they can kind of take care of some of that business earlier.
So plan ahead and not wait till that senior year to start focusing on it. All right, the next question is, how much time do counselors spend with testing rather than actual guidance counseling or counseling with classes?
We have an assistant principal in charge of our testing, and so we do not have counselors involved in testing until maybe the retest period. So very little time is spent at Hoggard for testing in the guidance department.
Okay, so someone else handles that. Is that the way in most of the other high schools as well?
It's the same with us as well, with the exception of the actual testing days when pretty much the whole school is involved in testing at that point. But an assistant principal handles all of the scheduling process.
Okay.
Testing is everyone's job in the school, and I want to move away from kids feeling as though they're being rewarded by not testing. I want them to want to test. I would hate to go through a week of practices and not want to play a game on Friday because I practiced so well. I want to shift our mentality to that we're all in this together. Let's show that we put our best foot forward. With that said, we have a lot of kids that come to biology because they went to chorus, or they go to algebra because they really wanted to go to a CTE class as well. So we try to sell it to our faculty that when that testing comes up, we're all in this thing together, and we're all going to pull this off together as well. And when we get to the spring and we shrink that testing window down to about 7 days, we're all going to have to really work together, not just guidance or APs, but everybody. And even the schools will have to work together to come up with a great way for kids to be able to put their best foot forward.
Absolutely, that's good. The next question is, why can students wear hats for their religious purposes and students cannot carry Bibles or wear rosaries for their religious beliefs?
I'm not sure where the person got that information, but when it comes to the student, if a student brings a Bible to school or wears something that's religious, there's nothing that says you can't do that. So that information, where they got it, is wrong.
Okay. So that they can just as easily.
Yes.
All right. The next question is just a general question to all of you, and that is there a high school class that offers an architectural class? I'm not sure if that means drafting or something
we have
larger
architectural design at Ashley.
You do? Do all the high schools
We have
have
architectural drafting,
classes?
and we do have drafting.
And is it architectural design? Does it go by a specific name?
drafting, engineering.
Yeah, there's several different levels of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, but everyone has that.
Some
Okay.
variation on it, yeah.
Okay, that's terrific. The next question is there an option to allow the use of digital books in an effort to lighten, I guess, the students' load with the bigger, thicker textbooks and also probably reduce the cost of the large textbooks?
I would say that's utopia, but that's where we all want to get to. I for one, love technology and promote it. We're looking forward to gaining wireless this year at Ashley, and once we go wireless, the district is having a guest network that kids can log into, and we would encourage anyone who has their own device to bring their own device once we go wireless to use in the classrooms and throughout the school. And certainly in the future, I hope that we are going to or will go to ebooks so that everything is accessible to where, you know, we can just scan something or download whatever the kid needs on their information for their classes and be good to go.
We're very close. We're probably a year, 2 years away from being able to do that. When we open Virgo next year, we're going to try to do that as much as possible there. And then all of our schools, but a lot of it has to do with the textbook publishers, their willingness to convert their paper materials to digital materials.
You know, the publisher that we're all so familiar with when we grew up was Scholastic. Right now they're rolling out their last textbooks. If you can Google them right now and find out that they're pretty much going to be going to everything online. I wouldn't buy stock in a publishing company right now when it comes to that. I can also tell you that a lot of us are going paperless as well. You know, when our students go off to college, they will no longer submit papers. Something that we're asking for this semester is for our teachers to step up and to start assigning paperless projects so our students can get used to submitting things online as well. We just want to change the culture of how we submit things herein, and so we can compete in this global economy with countries that are already doing that. So we'll be trying that out this semester at Hanover.
And I will also add, I have 2 teachers who are doing all of their classes totally paperless this semester, something we're trying out as well.
All right. Well, that wraps up this evening. We still have quite a few questions that were sent in, and we'd like to remind parents that those will be on that question and answer section of the New Hanover County Schools website. This wraps up our first live presentation of Upfront with the Superintendent. Your phone calls, emails, and Facebook questions have, I'm sure, guaranteed a repeat performance of this live call-in program. Until then, you can always get your questions answered from the Superintendent monthly on our show. So just look under the Superintendent link on the school system's website at www.nhcs.net and click on the Upfront link and submit your questions. For a complete list of all the programs for New Hanover County Schools here on the Learning Network, a complete calendar for the month can be found under the NHCS TV link. On behalf of everyone from New Hanover County Schools TV, I'm Ann David, and thank you for watching.